So this video is going to show you how you can add standard deviation error bars to your graph. Now, as to why you would want to do that, there are other resources to help you understand that. But basically, the standard deviation is going to show you the variability of your data. And it's going to allow us actually to compare different data points to see if they're significantly different or not just by looking at a graph. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to add those. The first thing you need to do is calculate the standard deviation, and you can do so very similar to how you did the average, except this time you're going to type in equals and you're going to type in STDEV for standard deviation. And again, you have to tell Excel what you want the standard deviation of. This is important that you only click the raw data again. Do not include the average that you calculated previously. And there's the standard deviation. You need to know how to work with standard deviation and what it means, but you don't actually need to be able to calculate it on the AP exam. So again, we're just going to drag these over, okay? And that's our standard deviation. Now, what does this show you? Simply the bigger the number, the more variable the data is. And you can kind of see this. It kind of goes from 161 up to 192 and everything in between. Whereas here, it's kind of like 159 to 169. It's all pretty clustered in here. So this is fairly consistent data. Now, and it's all fine to look at those numbers, but you really want to be able to put it on the graph somewhere so you can have a quick visual as to what's going on. So to add error bars that represent these values of standard deviation, you do as follows. Again, you're going to right-click on one of the data points, and you're going to go under the Format Data Series. So that's just going to bring this up, this dialog box up here, okay? And you can see error bars are available there. Now, I don't want x-axis error bars. I want the variability in the y-axis numbers, okay? So I want y error bars. I want them both up and below. I prefer to have caps on mine, but you don't have to. Now what you need to do is you need to tell Excel what value do you want to assign to those error bars. Now, because we're talking about standard deviation, it's tempting to click this. Don't. I have no idea what that does, but it's not what you think it is. So we have to go under Custom. And it says, okay, Custom, what values do you want to specify? So under the Custom error bars, you want to get rid of the value that's there. And then come over here and click and drag or highlight all of the standard deviation values. So I'm going to do this right there. Okay, and you can see over in the custom error bars that it's putting that data into the dialog box. Okay, and that's what's going to be above the line, but you also want it to be below the data point. So we'll do this again. Click it. So we've got the same value above and below the data points, and you click OK, and you are done. So you've got this. Now the graph looks a little bit different. So what does this mean? Okay, and you can see this has got a fairly large variability about it. These are actually quite small. That's kind of in between. Well, how is this helpful? Well, we could talk more about this in class, but basically the idea here is that if the error bars do not overlap, you can be pretty confident that the average height of 14-year-olds is significantly different than the average height of 15-year-olds. These ones, those just overlap, and these ones overlap. So you can't actually be incredibly confident that the difference between a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old is significantly different, not given this data. Now, maybe with more data, it would prove otherwise. But we can say that there is a difference between 15-year-olds and 17-year-olds because their error bars do not overlap. So that's a quick visual as to why you would want to do standard deviation and put those error bars on your graph. And generally speaking, anytime you generate more than 5 trials of the same independent variable, you should put error bars on your graph.